Okay, can you guys hear? Oh, now it works. Wait, it's not. Is it working? Alright, can you hear me now? Um, I guess I don't know why this mic is not. Wait, first of all, can you guys hear me now? Now you can hear me now. Okay. I don't know why this mic is not working. I literally was at a rocket launch today, and I recorded like 3 or 4 interviews of people with this working, and with both mics working. Actually, I had one mic, the interviewee had the other mic, and it worked just fine. So I don't know why it's not working. That said, I guess the audio quality is going to be pretty bad because I'm not using that mic anymore right now, I guess, because it's not working. So I just set it to use my computer microphone, which again is going to be okay. Great. All right, so I'm going to talk really loudly because it's using my computer microphone and not my actual microphones, and I don't know why it's not using my actual microphones, because these things, it should be working. I don't know why it's not working. I can try to mess with it, but I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea why it's not working. Don't know. So for the time being, we will just have to use the laptop audio. Can you guys hear me now? Again, great. Okay, so I just oh wait, I have to also do streaming is difficult. Okay, that should all be fixed now. I believe everything's good. So let's actually get into the rocket video. Okay, good. Lost you and switched camera, now back. Okay, great. Yeah, I fixed all of the audios. Again, I'll have to figure out why this isn't working. It should be working fine. Like I said, I used it earlier today, and it was working fine. So I apologize for the poor audio on this one. But today we're going to be building. So I'm still waiting. If you've tuned into any of my prior live streams, any in the past few weeks, you'll know that I've been building a red, white, and blue rocket for the 4th of July. And unfortunately, I'm still waiting on 54mm motor tubes from Lock Precision to actually build the thing. So I'm still waiting on those. That said, I did pick up a bunch of motors today. I got a bunch of D20s for my mini kits. Those are 18mm Quest engines. Those will be for my mini kits, so that now I can, once I get shipping and figured out, because I have to take a hazmat training and a bunch of other nonsense. I guess it's not nonsense, but like a bunch of nonsense to be able to actually ship motors, even though they're low power. Once I do that, then I will be able to actually have kits online that will come with motors themselves. That way, somebody can just order a bundle and it'll come with the rocket and the kit. So that's exciting. I also got all of the red, white, and blue motors I need to fly the Stars and Stripes rocket. I got I believe it is a S30 red line, a E27 White Lightning, and an E20 Blue Thunder. So those will work pretty well. But today, that's a side note. Today, since I'm waiting on those tubes, we're going to be building this rocket. I got this rocket kit, which this isn't my rocket kit. I basically got this out of the trash of that my club was throwing away. We just had a giant bin full of scrapped rockets and scraps that somebody donated. And so like different people have taken body tubes and motor tubes out of them, but this was left behind along with a few other rocket kits that were pretty destroyed. Like this is pretty destroyed. So today, I did a bunch of research on this, and apparently the guy that used to make them, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm completely misunderstanding it, his business went out of business, so you can't actually buy these kits anywhere. This was called the Stealth something or other from, I can't remember the name of his store, but he went out of business, so I'm going to be remaking it today. That way it will be a kit on my website that can be ordered and flown. I'm going to be making it out of laser cut plywood as well. This is foam board, so it's a little bit heavier. So mine will be a little bit heavier, but it should go pretty well. This one looks like the dude just hot glued in the motor, so it's not reusable anyways. But yeah, so we're gonna be making this today. I'm gonna take the design process. First, we'll do the reverse engineering of the rocket kit. Then we will design it, laser cut it, and go from there. And then build it and test it and fly it. I've got a bunch of this. So my laser cutter came with a bunch of these 2mm plywood sheets. So I'm going to be using a bunch of those because 2mm plywood is actually like the perfect diameter. And then I also have some cardboard that we can prototype with. So I just realized I forgot a tape measure, but let me swap scenes over to here. That way I can get some measurements. I'm gonna go grab my micrometer and I'll be back shortly. Sorry again for that. I apparently tend to forget a lot of things. But we're just reverse engineering it today, so I need to grab my calipers, and then we are good to go. I did just realize that I actually don't have any more 29mm tubes. I ordered more with the lock kits, or not the lock kits, but with the lock to 54mm tubes because I knew I was running low. But yeah, I am fresh out. I used the last ones I had on Stars and Stripes. So let me read chat real quick. So so this is, when I say foam, this is like foam board. I don't know if you know about foam board, but it's like this like soft stuff. That way it's flexible and everything else. The reason I don't want to do 3D printed is because A, I have a laser cutter that is like perfect for this job, but B, I also have a lot of 3D printed rockets, and I want to diversify a little bit because some people don't like 3D printed rockets. They like cardboard or plywood rockets, which means I need to have a bigger base. Also, 3D printing materials is really heavy. It's not a problem for most things, but for rockets, you need stuff that's to be really lightweight, and 3D printing in general is not that lightweight. So yeah, so like I said, I am missing the 29mm tubes, but it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up a Google Doc so that we can start writing down measurements. And so when I have a rocket kit like this is trying to reverse engineer this. So A, we're going to break it open in a minute, but for right now, right off the bat, I can take a quick couple measurements. Let me swap over to my other scene, that way I can show you what I'm doing. But I've just got this open Google Doc here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking measurements of this. Or I guess you can't see it, but I'm going to start taking measurements of this. So right now I'm going to, what it looks like is it's essentially a square that has these cutouts. So that's the three sides. So the square dimensions of this one in particular is this appears to be a 6x6 cube. So it'll have three sides that are 6x6. And then that means the bottom plate, we can do the math, but it is a triangle that is essentially looks to be 8 by 8 by 8. So the triangle side lengths are 8 inches. And then the motor mount tube is obviously I can math, it's 29mm, but not 19, 29mm, but we'll get that in a minute. And then the only other thing that is notable about this is the fact that A, there's no ejection charge. So you either need to build in a way that it can motor eject from the back, or we need to we need a way to exhaust gases, right? So we can either add vent holes in the sides, which is maybe not the best plan, or we can make the motor eject out the back, which is an interesting idea. Also, the other thing is the launch lug is right here, and the way it goes into the top, and then it's got a concave cut, so I'll have to model that. So let us go back into Fusion. We have a blank slate, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the triangle shape like this, just a simple triangle, and then all these angles are going to be the same, which means if I can remember math, it is 60 for a not a right triangle, an equilateral triangle. All the angles, the internal angles are 60 degrees. Then we will make this horizontal and make the side length. That's not an over-constrained sketch, my guy. Oh. Is it? Oh, I did the wrong. Okay. Then we can use some construction geometry. You can see this, correct? Yeah, great. Just had to make sure real quick. Construction geometry to find the center point right there. Now go up to the top. That's construction. Then we will add another line of construction geometry along this axis at the center to there. And I messed it up. So, coincidence, this point to here. And then finally, one third line of construction geometry right there. Now this point right here, we can constrain, actually we will do midpoint, this line right here, and then this line right there. Oh, I midpointed that line, my bad. We want to coincidence this line here, coincidence this line here, and bam, now the circle is centered. And we can, that's our bottom, right? So we can extrude this to be 2 millimeters. And that's our bottom plate. Then we want a hole in it. Circle, go back to the web, and go to rocketery.com. We go to their component section, we go water mount tubes, and we want their 29 millimeter 6-inch tubes. Of course, it doesn't actually give me the dimension. Quite annoying. Apogee. Apogee will give me the exact dimensions. So, the 29 millimeter rotor mount tubes from Rock Precision. I think these are the ones from Rock Precision. Manufactured by Apogee. Okay, we can always change the dimensions later. Again, this is just a test. But the inner diameter is going to be 29 millimeters, and the outer diameter is going to be 30.7 millimeters. So we want a second circle. Actually, we only need one circle because we're not, we can't model. So. This is going to be 30.7 millimeters. This is going to be 29 millimeters. And then we also need to add a tolerance to this, so do plus, parentheses, 0.2 millimeters. Give it a little tolerance. Actually, we'll make it 0.25. And the reason I do equations is so that later I can go back and change this number if I get a different tube or something, and then the tolerance will still be there instead of me having to calculate what the new number should be each time. Now I can bada bing, bada boom, extrude this -2, and we have ourselves a hole. And then I can I'm not thinking ahead. Okay, so when you do laser cutting, you have to use a DFX file. You export a DFX file, and then you import a DFX file into the laser cutter app. What I just did is I made a solid, but that solid has 2 DXFs because DXFs are made from sketches. So what I really need to do is I need to make the whole plate in one sketch. So I'm gonna go back into this sketch, and I'm gonna make two more I'm gonna make those same two circles, but I'm gonna make sure they're in the same sketch. So this was gonna be 30.7 plus 0.25 millimeters, right? And then this one was just straight up 29 mil. So now I can go back in here and I can deselect these two, and then it won't, then we have the same shape, but now it's one DFX file. So I can just go in here, right click this, I can export as DXF, and then we'll have what we need to laser cut. Let me read the chat real quick. I would make it taller, except that I haven't simmed anything taller, and I already know this flies straight, so I'm going to stick with something that flies right. At least something that is supposedly flying straight. How many people do we have watching this stream? Out of curiosity. Wow, 9 views already. Interesting. Cool beans. Alright, so, like I said, everybody like up and say hi in the chat if you haven't already. So, like I said, now we have to move on to each of the flat sides. I am going to, all 3 sides are the same. Actually, I lied. Not all 3 sides are the same. I'm a liar. 2 of the sides are the same. The 3rd side is the same, except it has a hole. So I am going to just model those here. Like I said before, it appears to be a diamond. A square that is 6 by 6. No, it's not a square that's 6 by 6. Wait. Yeah. Alright, so we'll start with a... That is not the right button. Cancel. We'll start with a square that is 6 inches by 6 inches. And then we will center it. Actually, bada boom, and then do 120, just so it's close. Now, the pattern is on one side, so if you turn it horizontally, that didn't. But if we turn it horizontally, it appears as though it goes out at the top to the point, and then it goes in by 1.2 inches, but for clarity's sake, we'll just go with 1 inch. So I'm just gonna model up the shape real quick. How many cutouts is there? There is 1, 2, 3 and a half. 1, 2, 3 and a half. Okay. Need to coincide that there. Then all of these, actually, we'll just use a line of construction geometry. This is construction geometry. This needs to be horizontal, and it needs to be 1 inch away from this. Now we can coincide all of these points onto the line. That actually goes there. Now we have to make them all equally spaced, so we take 6 inches and we go, we want 1, 2, or we want 1, 2, 3 and a half cutouts. So my brain is not mathing, but should look something similar to that. If we want 1, 2, 3 full cutouts and a half. I don't know why they have that half in there. I assume it's for a reason. but we need obviously 3 divided by 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2, or 6 divided by 2 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. They're all correct. I'm just rambling on. You can see that this diamond is the same shape as these 3. So these are 3 full diamonds and a half diamond. Which means if we do dimension here and here, dimension between here and here, do this as 1 inch. This is 1 inch. Here and here is 1 inch. Here and here is 1 inch. Here. No. Those should not be parallel. Those should not be parallel. Dimension U is inch. Dimension between U and U, 1 inch. Nope, that's not correct. So let's go 0.8 inch. Honestly, I'm just gonna eyeball it. 0.8 inch. Copy that. That doesn't look. That doesn't look bad, but I don't think that. I'm not convinced that looks proper. So let's go 9 inches and try 9 inches just as a nice middle ground. That's a bit too much. So we will try 0.85. Alright, that looks about right, I think. Yeah, that looks about proper. So now we can go and just extrude this as 2 millimeters, and we've got that edge. Now I'd say we should probably break this open because we have 1. So let's go ahead and crack it and like decipher the insides. Let me read chat real quick. Alright, so first I'm just going to try to rip it open. Actually, I have a razor blade. So it appears as though it's almost. No, they waxed it. Okay. So they glued it. I don't know. The only thing I don't know is how they hold up these. I'm trying to think through how you build it, and logic states that it wouldn't really be very structurally sound, you know? Like, when you're building it, I feel like this would be almost very difficult to build. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but... Oh, what have I done this? Oh, I'm just, like, being not cutting out of the way. Yeah, that was my worry. I'm just throwing one at the side to get it open. Right? So. Alright, so it appears as though they literally just put the motor in and then used it once, and then it, like, ejected, obviously, and then that was that. So, we should come up with a solution to that. We could either drill a hole in the top, which would let out the vent gases. I feel like that would be not a great plan, though. We could also just have no delay, which I think is the best idea, to just fly the sun motors without a delay. But yeah, so there's literally just no structure in here at all. It is just a triangle with 3 squares. And a motor tube, obviously. Which is very interesting. So, I guess let's swap back here. Back into Fusion. Well, if you want it, like I said, it'll probably be... This one should honestly be really easy to test fly. Because once I laser cut it tonight, honestly, I can... For a single-use rocket, I could just, like, 3D print a motor tube and then build it, fly it, like, in the next few days, and then launch the kit. Probably sometime by the end of the week, ideally. 24-hour kit build, meaning I have 24 hours from a half hour ago to fully design and launch a kit. That would be interesting, to say the least. I've thought about using tabs, because I could theoretically use tabs on the sides to help hold it in place, but I feel like that would almost disturb the look of the rocket, you know? I don't know. But yeah, let's finish. So we've got this one, we want, I think I will probably use 3D printed, probably have to use 3D printed launch lugs, because I don't know what else I would use. What else would I use? Let me know in the chat what else do you think I should use. I could get really thin tubes, I guess, but I also just have a 3D printer, and that would be much faster. Cheaper per kit, theoretically. So let me know if you guys think it would be okay to use just a 3D printed launch lug, because I think that would actually work really well. So I have to figure out how I'm going to model the side with the hole. I guess we try to assemble this, so we'll move this, and what it's going to have to do is we'll have to turn it 90 degrees this way, rotate it 60 degrees this way. Actually, no, 45? No. 55. Oh, 60. Yeah, 60 makes sense, obviously. Silly me. And then this also needs to be rotated 45 degrees. And then, before I do that, before I rotate it, well, dagnabbit. Move this. We're going to pop it up 90 degrees, pop it around 60 degrees, and then pop it this. We'll get it in position first. Is that perfect? Off the gate? No, it's not. Okay. We'll move it back. That's a bit. 0.5. 0.4? No. I can have it. 190. No, 190. No. 150. It was 149. No, 0.35. Okay, perfect number. 149.3335. Okay, now we will rotate it 45 degrees and move it. Now it's good. Now we will move it again with the correct orientation over some slightly and then down a bit. Not that much. I don't know how they did this. Like, I know how it's done, obviously, but I don't know how it's done, if that makes any sense at all. No. Because they canted in slightly. I don't know what degree, though. It is at the perfect halfway mark, so maybe I measured wrong. I guess that's possible. Is it actually? No. Okay, so triangle, it's slightly bigger, it appears. Down. Right? Negative. Then we need to move it over slightly. Slightly more. That looks about good. Now I have to figure out how they did the cant. The actual tipping inside, because it needs to be tipped in enough that it reaches the center. So that when I copy it around, there is 3, obviously. Okay, I think that's right. So now that needs to be moved out. There we go. Try that. So now when we copy this in a circle around here, we get the shape. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That is exactly what it's like. Great. Now, like I said, we only need to do the hole. How do I model the hole? That's the question now. Because I can cut it through. Obviously, that's easy. If I just go circle, and then I do circle here, get a 1/4 inch hole, so 0.25 5-inch plus a tolerance. We want this to be really loose, so let's give it a tolerance of 0.4. And then we will center it on this, move it down slightly, so we'll put that 22 millimeters up. And then we can simply just extrude this all the way through it. That's what I need to do, but in another spot, so hold on. We want this. I forgot they don't let you do negative numbers. That's the only annoying thing about Fusion I can ever do. Well, actually, the most annoying thing about Fusion is just... Actually, no. Yeah, that's pretty much the only annoying thing about Fusion I can think of. Is they don't let you use negative numbers in your things. Oh. Why is it, ain't doing that. Back on the sketch. Extrude. There we go. Oh, I know what I can do. I can go back into the first sketch and just put the hole right there. With those same dimensions, I can do 0.25 inch plus 0.4 millimeters, and then we can send it to be 22 millimeters above. So that fixes the first sketch. That will make the triangle at the bottom work properly. But then this, I need this shape. I don't know how I can model this shape flat on the thing because it gets extruded sideways. So unless I can take this sketch, I can take this surface and I can extract a DFX. I guess I could create sketch. No, that wouldn't work. Because then the hole wouldn't be this shape. It would be flat. But that's nothing you couldn't fix without sanding. And this is 2 millimeters, so it's already pretty thin enough. So that would work. Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'll probably have it done in just a few days, hopefully. So that it's orderable. I guess I can go back into this sketch. I can probably make an oval that's close enough to this that it won't matter, an ellipse. Circle. Here. There? Yeah, that's the right ellipse. Perfect. So then we just turn off these other bodies so that I can actually get a good model, and then we'll go line here, here, to there, to there, 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 there. For a rocket cat that's supposedly this simple, it's awfully complicated. Convoluted to make. No? Alright, now we have the shape. Now we need to constrain this. Dimension to cancel. I guess I don't need to create a pyramid. Why is it? This is, yeah, that number. This number, yeah, it's great. Perfection at its finest. We will name this sketch to be the launch lug side sketch. I can spell. Well, I can spell fine, but this one will be the main side, and this will be the base. And then what was this? This was an extra sketch for that I don't need. Perfection. Back here. This is actually now in the wrong spot, so I need to go back and coincidence that to right there. There we go. Now all of those are defined, and we turn the bodies back on. We have the shape. Again, we have to figure out the solution to do the projection part. So what do we think for that? What do we think for the actual, like, ejecting of the motor? Because I don't think it's a good idea to just let all the exhaust gases of this go directly back into Um, go back into here. With this. Oh, Art Applewhite himself. Is he still? I thought he went out of business. Wait, what's it show? That is the creator that I was thinking of. That rock, yeah. But I don't. Could have sworn, yeah. Texas, free stuff, rock clubs, oh yeah, 13mm stealth right here. Okay, so he has a 3D printed version. Interesting. Okay. Well, then in that case, I was unaware that he actually still made kits. So now we turn this rocket into, instead of copying his design, obviously, because I don't want to copy his design, we turn it into something new. So, back to Fusion. Thank you, E.S. Snyder 5. That was useful. I did not know. I've done a ton of searching and I could not figure out who the actual creator of those were. And I remember somebody telling me that he went out of business, but that's good to know that he has files online. So now we just modify it. And I do actually really like the idea of having it have an ejection charge. Let's see. Let's go back to his website. That's not the right thing. Here. Rocket launcher, rocket clubs. I'm just getting started with 3D, so it's appreciated. Back here. New 3D rockets. Free stuff. What is this? Before going to free stuff, you must read the accept the following conditions of use. Criminal liability. Model rockets are not toys. Yeah. Copyright infringement. Violation launch. Accept. Interesting. Okay. Well, so that means I obviously cannot use his design. So we change it. I do still want to do a pyramid rocket because I like the idea. So, what shall we turn this into? Does chat have any ideas specifically? Well, I can't directly copy his design because that is copyright infringement. And also, I don't like copying design. The reason I was trying to make it initially is because I was under the impression that he was out of business and therefore no one could get his kits. Which is true. He doesn't sell them. He doesn't sell the files. He has the files online for his shop. But if you don't have a laser cutter, you still can't make one out of wood. So there's that. But I'm not gonna go and just directly copy his design. So we do need to change it a bit. I think to make it a little more lightweight and also to we want it to be lighter weight because this is going to be made out of wood, so it's going to be a little bit heavier. And actually, this is small enough. I think if I made it out of wood, I could swap it down to an 18mm engine. And I would like to be able to make this flyable on Estes engines, which means I could go with 24mm. Estes has 24mm E's, right? Am I going insane, or they have 24mm E's, right? Yeah, D's and E's. Okay. So we'll make this down to a 29mm engine mount. Not the right file. This one, yeah. So this is be 24 millimeters, and this one will be 25.7. We'll just call it there. And then this one will be 18 millimeters above. Actually, we'll make it 19. I've had many people at the club tell me that they would like a rocket like this again because they haven't had one in forever. Because, again, you can either make it yourself, but there's no way to buy the kit. So I definitely want to make something. And I think let's go with some cutout design. Just like continuing the pattern. I don't want to structurally compact too much, so as a kind of, we'll add some guidelines. Here to here, be off limits. Here to here, and then the same dimension there to there, obviously horizontal, and the dimension of this is 0.85, so dimension this to this. That gives us this square of space to work with. And I think we should either accentuate the triangle shapes or the square shapes. This is a triangle rocket though, so we should accentuate the triangles. So let's go with triangle in each corner, because why not? I'll define those in a second, so they're better. And then I need to make them non construction lines. This should be vertical, this one will be vertical, this will be vertical, and this will be vertical. So that we have a right triangle type situation going on. This will be 2 mil from here. This will be 2 mil. This one will be 2 mil. This one will be 2 mil. And for the width, let's make this 0.85 inch, because that's the same number as the other ones, as the bottom pieces that I made. Mention this to be that. Oh. Yep. Dimension this, and dimension that. Okay, that adds 2 triangles. Now we just have to copy and paste. Over there. Move it right there-ish. And oh, that's not the right button. We want that to be horizontal. And then we will constrain this to be 5, actually yeah, 5 mil is a better. It's not 4 degrees, silly computer. That's horizontal. I'll make this parallel with that. Happy computer? That makes more sense, I guess. Oh. That would be why it didn't like those dimensions. Fair. Alright, dimension this to here as 5 mil, this to here as, again, 5 mil. I don't like how close that is. Let's make it 10 mil. Yeah, that's pretty good. So then we'll just copy and paste this. Over here. A few more times. Be 5 millimeters over. Good enough. And then again, dimension it to be 10 mil from there, and 10 mil from there. And then one last time, we can copy and paste it there, which we will then again constrain to be 10 by 10. Oh, see, that goes outside the line though. So, that I made at least. Actually, since that goes to the top, we could set this to be 2 inches, and this one to be 2 inches. As like the big top square piece, and then we won't make anything go on that side, but we make stuff go on this side. So we can just fully delete this line then, and then constrain this to this. Let me know if you guys are getting lost, because I do want to teach you some things. And then you actually will delete this triangle completely, because I don't think it fits now. Although, in that case, we kind of need it to be a diamond shaped on both sides. I don't know if that will work, though. If we add another diamond shaped there... Huh. What do you guys think? Have you guys said anything? It's taller. On the website, it does say, well, I guess that's not actually how copyright works, so I'm going to ignore that part of the website, because it was incorrect, but, oh, I guess he was referring to upscaling, not changing the actual dimension, but I can make it a bit taller. I wonder how it would fly if I just added another side to it, if that makes any sense. There's already, this one's kind of destroyed now, but there's this side. So what if I just add those same things to that side too? Go for it. So in that case, I'll have to destroy this triangle. And I will have to delete, I'm going to actually just trim off this. Actually, no, that just deconstrains everything, so I'll leave it for now. But I will copy and paste the teeth pattern that I made. We'll move it over there. We will rotate it. And we need to flip it. Can I flip it? Yeah. Flip it 180. I'm gonna actually rotate it again 180, because I shouldn't have rotated it the first time. And then we can move this up there, in slightly. And all that good enough, and then we will just coincidence all of these things together, and then redimension it. The only thing is, how do we connect? I think this goes here, actually. Which means this goes there. Which means you just get a square on the end. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Alright. So, the dimensions between here and here. Silly little computer. Dimensions between here and here are 0.85 millimeters. No, 0.85 inches, silly. See. I constrain all of these, and then don't want to create a driven, but that should be right as long as we get the sizing down. So this is 1 inch, Control C. So now we need another line, construction line. Right. Put it down there. We'll make it horizontal. Mention this between here and here being 1 inch. Now just constrain this to here, this to here, that to there, and it should be, right? Mostly, the only thing I don't like as it is now, I don't like this shape because when it gets cut out, right, we go back here and we deselect these squares, that's gonna make a really odd shape, right? Which I don't know that I like that. It looks a bit weird, and I feel like that's gonna be a weak spot that might break easily. So, I vote we change the base, not that, yeah, that sketch. We change it and get rid of this bit right here. Remake these. We reconstrain these so they are indeed 1 inch. I want to let me constrain those. To redo half the constrainings. Okay. This does need to be 1 inch from here. This needs to be 1 inch from here. And then this can get deleted. And this can get deleted for now. Then we can make this 1 inch. Then from here to here is 1 inch. Here to here is 1 inch. And from here to here is 1 inch. Which leaves me with, then I do this to here is 1 inch. From here to here is 1 inch. Here is a driven apparently, and from here to here is 1 inch. And then we do a line from here to here, which cuts off that corner, which doesn't look too bad. I feel like that looks better, I think. I don't know yet. This needs to be constrained to here by 1 inch. And this needs to be constrained to here by 1 inch. That's gonna look awful weird. Yeah, that looks almost worse somehow. Definitely means more smaller of them. So hold on. Go back into the sketch. We'll make them 0.75 inches. That's a decent amount smaller. I'm gonna delete these triangles for now because they're throwing me off. Dimensionally and everything else. Dimensions, you and You need to be that. You need to be that. To be that. You need to be that. And we can delete this. We can go line. Add another one. To be at least 3. Then we can go dimension between you again is that number. Here is that number. Is 0.75 inches. I guess I should be using more descriptors because I am trying to teach you guys things, which I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of. But that probably looks a lot better, I would say. This needs to be moved to this then, so that it matches. Otherwise that just looks goofy. Oh wait, I can't even do that yet. I can't even put that there because if I do, then it will cut off the hole. Yep, can't do that. So have to that's not the right one. Wrong dimension. This dimension. 1.5 and okay. Try that. Okay, that doesn't look too bad actually. I kind of like the way that looks. I think we need another triangle, which will be higher up, that will act as a stabilizing front, and also, no, I can't do that because that defeats the whole purpose of having the vents. Unless I do, how much distance is there between? I need an analysis, section analysis. Yeah, that works. I was thinking I could add another triangle section, like the base, up here. That way we can make sure the tube is completely vertical. But that defeats the whole purpose of having the vents. And without those vents, then it's pointless to have yeah. I do think you need a vent still. So in that case, we go back to the whole rejection thing, yeah? I think so. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Oh. Because we don't want there to be a hole in the top. Interesting. Trying to think through what I can do. I like the base how it is now. I think that'll work pretty well. I almost think that needs to be slightly different though. I think this needs to be 0.85 inches instead. The last one should be 0.85 inches instead of the 0.75 because it gives it a little like obtuse look to it, and I don't like that. So let's try. That looks about right. That looks better, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, man. I work here, honestly. Like, I don't ever know. How did he do it? Like, how did he make it so the ejection charges didn't make a giant mess? Well, I guess download the STL file and open it up. No, I don't want to open it with that app. I don't want to open it up with satellite. I want to open it up with Telegos. Cancel. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. So, he just has a trapezoidal shape with what looks like holes in the motor tube, and then I assume that triangle is the rail guide. And then he just has a hole at the top. That actually is geometrically pleasing, kind of. But also, pyramid is better. Cancel, cancel, cancel. So what if we remove the triangle? So that it's solid again. That looks slightly better, I think. And then we add holes in the bottom for ejection charges. For the ejection charge to go out. Yeah, that sounds like it would. Because this will be for 24mm Estes engines, which don't have that much kick as it is. So yeah, that should be fine. There. There, and then I'll just mirror it around. So what I'm going to do is, I just made 3 lines. I'm going to make each line parallel with the outer wall of this. Those 2 lines. And then I will make the base perpendicular to the construction, so it's a triangle. Then we will set the constrained diameter to 10mm, not 20, 10mm from each edge. Yeah, that's over constrained like I thought. This will determine how big it is, so let's make it wrong dimension. Let's make it 50 mil. And then I will see this shape. That's a decent sized hole pocket, I think. Let me look how much it takes off when I circular pattern it. Center point is that. 3, okay. That is a decent hole. Let's make it 60, see how way that takes us. Let's do 70. See where that goes. That is enough, I think. We can do select these, and bada bing bada boom. Still can't do any form of motor alignment though. That's the only thing that bugs me. I guess I could make like a bunch of stacked, but that would just add a bunch of weight. Which is a bad plan, so I'm not gonna do that. This should work though. The only concern I still have is how I'm going to actually get it aligned. Like actually built. But that's a problem for tomorrow, Aiden. So shall we laser cut it out, or it's already level 15, so I could not laser cut it out. But if you guys want to stay, I could sketch up, man. I don't know if I should be doing this live. No. Oh, is that just... What is the point? It's an app? Or like a program for making animation, I assume? Yeah, maybe? Or just drawing in general, 3D drawing? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we can just cut it out. Right. Take very long. I'm gonna put that out of the way. Actually, let me set it up before I make it slice. So we're gonna open. Firstly, how many people are still watching? Now it is many people. 2 people. Okay. Yeah, so we gotta open Falcon design space. Okay. I don't care. Right? Main power. Plug in the air to the laser cutter. And then power to the laser cutter. That's on. Plug in the key. Turn on for a second. Never remember if the circle is on or if the line is on. But alright, so we gotta extract these 3 sketches. We will export these as DXFs to the base of the pyramid. We will make a new document, other files. What should we call this rocket? It doesn't have to be the final name of it, but let's go with what should the rocket name be? For now, I'll just put it in a pyramid file. Alright, so we need the side sketch, the main sketch, oh, and I forgot. We want to uncheck all of those. Yes, X override. Then in Falcon space, we're gonna import these 3, and bam, we've got our DXFs, which are very small actually, smaller than I expected them to be. I'm going to rotate it 3 degrees just so I can fit more. But no, maybe. I'm gonna make this a different color. And cutting. This is going to be plywood 2 millimeters. This one's also going to be plywood 2 millimeters. Laser cutter come to life. Plugged in now. Laser cutter to life. Laser cutter, Mr. Cutter. Oh, that's so silly. I didn't turn off the emergency stop. Now it's turning on. I always forget, there's like 12 on switches you have to all flip. Why did you bring the cat out? Nah, calm down. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. Knox says hi. Okay. Get back inside. That wasn't a nod yet. Okay. Okay, laser cutter's working now. Perfection at its finest. Alright, I need a wood board. Okay, we will. Alright, I'm going to start cutting after I do some stuff. Right. No, it is a Falcon A1 Pro. That makes a lot more sense. I had it set to the wrong thing, which is why I was surprised that I could fit all of those things. But I, in fact, cannot fit all of those things, and I can only fit, looks like, 2 per board. So, yeah. Yeah, I definitely can't fit a third in there anywhere. So, that's not the right button. Okay. So if I autofocus the laser, we connect it first, of course. Okay. Wait. Okay, now it's connected. Means I can autofocus the machine. You guys can see this, right? Oh, of course you can't. Stop it. There you go. Autofocusing. Now it's going to set the height of the tool head. It knows autofocus successful. It knows the height of the wood based on there's a laser sensor, the red dot. I don't know if you can see it, but it'll know. And now we're going to frame it. Okay. I did something to break this. I just realized I did something to break that. For some reason it didn't update. Hold on, let me go back in here. Oh, I have to hold on, I have to update the launch slug file because it's not correct. Because when I updated the other files, it was directly chained, but it wasn't properly. It was just a remake of that file, if that makes sense. So I have to redo it. Hold on. Actually, while I do that, you guys can be watching it laser cut because I can let it cut these two. I'm going to turn this one. Don't want to make it bigger. I'm going to turn it 180. Actually, that might not work. Goal was to. Yeah, there you go. Okay. What needs to remove? Reframe it so I can see if that is correct. And continue. Uh, Okay, the boards I have are barely big enough to fit cut a hole, but that should be good. me frame it one more time so I'm sure. Perfect. That is indeed good. Yes. Right, it's cutting. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back into Fusion and edit it slightly. Okay. We will go back into Fusion and set it to be. You guys can see that. See it. So I'm back in Fusion. I'm just fixing the panel that is correct. I want the XF because the XF for the third side, the one plug slot is broken. So I'm going to fix that. I'll be done with it in like 60 seconds. Since I have the oval, oops. And string for and that's easy. Those things. And I do actually at least do yeah, two actually second. Well, yeah, all the way, not sure. What can I do? Oh. Okay. Yeah, so what I did is the way I set it up beforehand, it accidentally ended up cutting. Here, let me show you. In here, it ended up cutting this line right here, which then cut off all of those tips, and this line, which cut off all of those tips. The reason that's an issue is because, well, obviously it's an issue, but the reason it happened is because way back when I was making this, I set this, I didn't set it as a construction line. I set it as a real line, which is a problem, obviously, in hindsight. To fix that, we just go main side. We will re-export the DXF. we will change the settings back to normal. We'll do it, we'll override it, and then we'll go back in here, we'll delete them, and then we'll import the main side again. It'll be fixed. Now we control CV over here, rotate it to be yeah, 180. And then move it down so that it is as close as possible without touching, like that. Now we gotta move the file. Need to change the settings because it's not basswood, it's I don't know. Yeah, we'll just change it to be 500 speed. Slow it down slightly. Frame it again. Should be right this time. Perfection. I am actually going to move these up though. Select all. Them up slightly. I can't go because I've got a decent amount of space in there. Okay, perfect. Oh, so actually you guys can see what's happening. And then laser cut away. Perfect, that is cutting. Now I can go back to Fusion and finish fixing. Side. That's almost like almost comes out, and those are almost fully cut out, which means the last thing I'm missing is I need to fix the DX of it. Yeah. Lips. Mention 9.5. 15. Alright, that's done. Give me 2 shakes of his tail. Turn off that. Once I get I need more. What am I doing? Hold on, I forgot about tolerance. That said, these are done. These 2 are done and dusted. They look like arrows, which I kind of like. So they'll go like that. Then obviously you'll have a third. But that's not looking too shabby, honestly, not gonna lie. Alright, so I need to grab the third, and then, yeah. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna swap you guys back to the main camera, or back to this camera. I need to, I modeled the launch log so that it's 3D printable. Unfortunately that means well, not unfortunately, I just have to add tolerances. So I need another circle here. Dimension this to be 0.25 millimeters off, and then on this hole we will take it off, and on this extrude we will take it off. Then we need to go, that adds tolerances there, meaning we need to go back into this and delete that yet again, change the hole slightly with an ellipse. Mention it to be these new dimensions and big. Now we can actually export this DXF, lug side save, as well as the base DXF. Save. Now we can go back into Falcon, delete this, move. We'll select all of these, select all, we'll move them out of frame, we don't need them right now. We'll import the main and the lug. That's not correct. We don't need this one. We need lug and we need to import the base. Unfortunately, the base has to be printed with its own slab, so I'm just gonna put it smack dab. Actually, I'll put it off to the left as far as possible, and then I believe it's cool enough that I can probably maybe so this is just gonna be a test one mostly. So try to snag it. That off frame. Yeah, no, that's not mine. This is definitely too used already. I'm fully the bummer, but I don't know, so it's fine. Frame. Okay, perfect. Yep. That looks to be about good. Um, why is... Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Okay. Hold on. We'll ungroup this just for the time being. But I don't need it to cut this hole 3 times. I don't need to cut this hole twice. I know why it did that, and I can't fix it without starting over, so it's fine, but actually just the two softwares don't really like the mesh super well sometimes, so I don't know that I can fix that at all, but it should be fine. Alright. That laser cut. Yeah. When you're Canada, I'm sure you smoke smoke. You don't smell the smoke from my machine, then it's normally I would have it piped outside through the tube, but I don't have it. Well, I have it with me, but like it does no good. I'm already in the so right. Yeah, this laser cutter was insanely expensive, and I have not made back the cost yet of it. So it's a $1,200 laser cutter, and I got it on sale for like $900. So well, it was like $850 plus the $50 in the bed that you have to get for it, because of course it doesn't come with it. Why would it come with it? So it was $900 total, and I have probably made $100 worth of profit with it, if that. So it's not paid off itself yet. Yeah, it was really bad here too. Especially Thursday. Thursday was terrible. Like it looked like it was like heavy fog everywhere. I've heard that even today, still up north in the UP, it's so bad you can like barely see 20 feet. It's terrible. But yeah, I don't ever remember there being wildfires this bad where there's this much smoke, except for like the last 3 years. Like it feels like the last 3 years in a row there's just been wildfires nonstop. Yeah. All right, that is done. Right, we have this piece now as well, so I just need to cut one last piece, and then we can work on putting it together. I don't know if they're in. I don't know. Yeah, I seem to like snow more and more. Like I don't like it when it makes it so I can't go anywhere, but I also like snow more and more each year. I hate how some programs selecting multiple things you have to hold control, and in other programs to select multiple things you have to hold shift. It's so weird. Like why is there no standard for that? You'd think there would be a standard. But no, there's not. It's so weird. The next beat. I gotta frame it. Framing is just where it goes, and it uses a low power laser beam to trace around where it's gonna cut. That way you know if it's actually on all the material. Which in this case it is. So now I can hit cut, and it'll start cutting. Super nice. Right, after that, we can start putting it together. 24-hour rocket build. So I guess I'll finish live streaming this tonight with building it, and then tomorrow I'll live stream the launch. Because I have the Estes motors, so I'll just 3D print. A thingamajig tonight, and then after I figure out how in the world to put it together, that is. I think I can use tape as a temporary holding mechanism to hold it together, and then glue. Like, just temporarily hold it together with tape, and then, like, temporarily, once I have that piece, temporarily tape these sides together so they're all nice and lined up. And then it'll still be flexible, but then once I put in this triangle, I can glue it in. Probably with hot glue, because honestly, hot glue is just, like, the best glue ever. And that'll work. And I can just add the printed parts tomorrow. Once it's printed, so I can print it overnight. That is golden. So yes, I did think about implementing tabs, but I felt like that would break the illusion of the thing, right? Like the whole like part of the pyramid is that it's just one solid piece, and I feel like adding tabs, especially if you don't then sand it and prime it and fill it and then sand it and paint it, then it won't look as cool. You know? But what I'm thinking is I'll go get some packing tape so then I can just loosely hold these sides together. And then, yes, it will still be able to move some. It won't be rigid. But then I can add the base bit, and then it will be rigid. So, yeah, I will go grab some packing tape, and then I'll get the hot glue on it. Actually, I can just use this tape right here, glue tape, that'll work better anyways, and packing, and then I'll be back in a second. All right, I have returned All right, I have returned with my fancy glue gun. I take this to rocket launches, and then I can just have a mobile hot glue gun out in the field. It's really nice. It's so nice. Um, highly would recommend for rockets. That, um, it's just a uh, Ryobi One Plus hot glue gun. I don't know. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out for the launch. Like I said, I'm gonna try to be launching tomorrow. Um, I thought about adding a second shelf, like you said. I could just make another triangle, which would help align the motor tube too. The issue with that is then that would defeat the purpose of having these vent holes because the idea was that the ejection charge, well, you use no ejection charge, but the idea I had at least is that it would go up, hit the top, and then deflect down through these triangles. But if there's another plate in the way, then it can't. So I don't know. I feel like you can just almost glue the motor tube in. In fact, I have 24mm motor tubes. Probably with that one. Show you what I mean. Okay. Hmm. That's a good idea, I guess. Yeah. I'll try that. Um. Let me tape this up first, and then see where we're at. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I guess I won't see you tomorrow, but like you'll see. You can see whenever things happen. Okay. Yeah, I'll send him an email. Let me write that down on my to-do list of things to do. I'll actually just write him a um uh, thing right now, or just like write him a to I don't know email to Applewood Art, right? Art Rockets about selling. Yep. See you later. Art Applewhite. Okay. Thank you. That is very helpful. Thank you much. I will see you tomorrow, and I will try to launch it tomorrow, and then put out a video really soon. I'll chop this up into like the most convenient parts, and then um. Oh, and the raspberry setting. Okay. We'll take actually. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to move the laser cutter off the table. That way, you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Um, and then we will go from there. Push that in. Push that. pull out this, with this, you in there. It takes like 30 seconds to set up, so I can only set it up again if I need to. I'm also a tech kid, so I can touch hot glue on um, against the tip of the hot glue gun, and it's painful. Would not recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Almost there. Close to the we're building this piece. Everything. Aliens? What do you mean by aliens? Okay. Got my scrap file. Scoot over here. So, what I'm going to do is I've got all these pieces. And then I'm going to take the tape. I'm going to lay out a strip of tape about yay length, like that. And then I'm going to take the side of the first one, put half of the tape there. Right? Take the second one and line it up so that I've got half. And that's the best way to show this. Half half of the wood is going to be on top of this wood. The other half be off of it. That way, there's a shoulder, kind of. Yeah, there we go. So when you put it flat, there should be yay. That works. And then the next piece is going to go right here, kind of making like origami. Line it up, give it about a 1/4 inch gap. Demonstration. And then if this was like a 4-piece pyramid, then it would have another one right there to complete like a clover, which actually is not a bad idea, and I might do now that I think about it because that looks cool. In my professional opinion, because I'm definitely a professional. Wink, wink. And the third one, so now we have this triangle, trifecta looking thingamajig. And if I bend this up, I bend this up. How did I did it right? You should have, and then you hold the tape up. You should have a pyramid. Oh, that's so good. I didn't even realize it would be that. That looks so crisp. That's so nice. Laser cutters are great, man. But yeah, that you've got your pyramid now. I'm going to take hot glue. I'm going to seal the inside edge along each of these grooves. This would be better done with epoxy, but this is the Mark 1. So I'm not mixing up epoxy tonight. But I'm going to seal inside here, here, here. That makes sense. I'm going to seal here all 3 of the seams on the inside with hot glue. So hot glue is the best material ever invented, as you should know by now. If any of you have seen Zyla Foxland's videos, you know that one of her slogans is hot glue at Mach 2. She sent hot glue to Mach 2, and it was absolutely fine. So, if you've also seen Joe Bernard from BPS.space, he uses hot glue for literally everything. So, yeah, hot glue has a very important place in rocketry. In fact, actually, probably the first 5 rockets I ever built had hot glue fillets. Fun fact about Air Dragon Labs, hot glue fillets. All right, I've got the first one done. I'm gonna do the other two. All right, I got the 3 beads of hot glue in there. Uh, should look pretty nice. Now I'm going to go. That's what I see. Now we need to go ahead and add in this, and I believe what I just did by accident is going to end up making it so. Oh no, if it's perfect. So that top right on. Oh no, silly, I did it backwards. Yeah, you gotta make sure you line up the 2 holes because this hole, this hole right here for the launch plug needs to line up with the hole at the bottom. So definitely make sure those are lined up at least as best as you can. This thing is already probably gonna spin through the air sideways, but like it's good to have it mostly put together. And now I'm just going to take the hot glue and glue the seam right here, adding a nice hefty. And you might be wondering, Aiden, where in the world is the shoot gonna go? And I would tell you that I'm gonna get to that in a second. Yeah, these 2 4.6 in this. Yeah, I definitely look forward to selling this kit. I think people really like it. Provided it fly straight, but if it does, then I think it. So then I'm definitely gonna reach out to Applewhite, see if he can let me sell his designs because I would totally to 100%. Right, let's fill it. So I'm gonna let all of this dry for a second because all of the hot glue is still hot, right? And then once it solidifies, I will take off the blue tape and do fillets around the outside. Read chat real quick. Oh yeah, right. That makes sense. Yeah, I bet they were. Um, It's because I know too much about Rocket. Like, I was getting too close to like finding out about them. The aliens. Um, yeah. So, motor tube is way too long right now. So, as this dries, I'm gonna go cut it down because that's way too long. Um, so I'll be back in a second because the motor tube I brought up is way too long. All right, that was a 6-inch motor tube that I have for my 24 millimeter kits. So I just cut it in half to be 6 inches. Um, should be the right length. Might be a little short, but should be all right. Perfect, perfect. 3 inches is perfect. Um, as we all know, 3 inches is the average number and is a perfect size. Um, it fits in there just right. It's got like a tiny bit sticking up, but I actually do enjoy having it stick up because a triangle will self-center, whereas a box won't because it's pyramid. So if it was like this, when you push it down, it self-centers, meaning that we know this is perfectly straight, as well as the fact that now that there's just that tiny bit sticking up, I can put a bead of hot glue around that to be a nice thick fillet. I'm going to do now. Um, with that pushed in all the way, I'm going to take a nice big bead of hot glue and just beat around the tube, using the pressure of the hot glue gun to just push it in there real nice and like there's a little bit of tolerance between the motor tube and the laser cut because I added too much tolerance. But that gives me a decent amount of room to make to just push hot glue down in there to the perfect fillet. So yeah, there you go. The one thing real quick, recontent per viewer still 054. Okay then, y'all are still watching. That's kind of crazy that y'all are watching at 12:15 a.m. I guess, but more people joining it. Okay, so this is good now. What I'm gonna do is take off the tape so that I can do the fillets along the outside rim because it's dry now. All the hot glue is cooled off, um, enough that it can hold itself together. That's so sad. Right. Satisfying. And it looks so crisp, dude. Oh, that's looking so nice. All right, that is holding together quite well. Very, very well. The black lines from the laser cutting look so crisp, dude. Um, the only thing I'll say is I don't even know if it needs paint. Like this just looks so good raw. raw plywood, and it's pretty light too. Honestly, I don't know if it'll be light enough. Definitely be light enough for an E. I think it'll be light enough for a D too. Honestly. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. Oh, I forgot. You guys probably aren't on the East Coast. What time zone are you in, Tiny House Homestead? Yeah, for me it's midnight. But if you're in Pacific, it's 9 o'clock for you, right? Or you could be in Mountain, which would be 10, I think. Right now, 10 today. 10 o'clock, and I'm just Mountain Standard Time. Yep, that sounds about right. If there's anyone else in the chat, where are you guys from? What time zone are you in? I am very curious. Like I said, it's midnight here for me, which I'm fine. I stay up till midnight at least every day. Most of the time it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I try to go to bed by 1, but it's the summer, so like a lot of the time I will be up until 2 a.m. Latest I've stayed up in the past week was probably 6 a.m., which does like destroy the whole next day. So I should not do that. But it's done. I run out of glue sticks by the time it's done. I'm on to 4 glue sticks. Right. The outer fillets are done, dude. I don't even know what else there's left to do on this rocket. I can definitely fill it when standard time. I mean, if you're launching rockets, you're basically there already. Um, there's a few spots that definitely need just like a little bit more hot glue. Um, especially around these edges. Because I added hot glue when I did the internal fillets. I shouldn't have gone up as quite as high as I did, which then made it so that the um, triangle centerpiece couldn't go right in as far as I needed it to. Like it's sitting a little higher than it should be. But I know what I did wrong and I can fix it next time. But yeah, honestly, this is coming along really well. Way better than I thought it would. Especially once I had to change plans. Because reverse engineering something is easy enough, especially something this simple. I could do that in my sleep. But um, redesigning it from scratch is a lot harder. And just making something that looks good is a lot harder. Like I feel like this looks pretty good. I don't know if it does. You guys will have to let me know in the um, comment section, which is the chat right now, how good you think this looks. But I personally really like the look of the plywood. I think this is just like standard plywood. Yeah. Um, they're just 2 mil plywood sheets, and it's pretty light. Honestly, I can go get my scale, but I don't think it's that heavy. Well, it looks like one of my siblings took my scale, so I can't actually weigh it. Um, Meaning we're just gonna have to put a D in it and call it a day, see if it flies. So yeah. Um, I will see you guys tomorrow. I probably won't live stream the launch, but I'll definitely record it and then immediately upload it. Um, just because I need to figure out the logistics of live streaming launches. The last launch, it looked okay for the first 15 minutes, but after that point, it just got so garbled up and like a complete mess. And I don't know why. Um, yeah, so I will 3D print um this bit. Let me swap cameras. The large webcam. I will 3D print the center lug piece so that I can just uh like make it obviously go on the launch pad. Um and then I'll glue that in, launch it tomorrow, and then post a video hopefully around 3 p.m. EST. So for you guys, it would be 2. Um, yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think we should name this in the comment section below because I need name ideas. Um, Serious name ideas. Because this thing is gonna become a kit. That I think a lot of you will actually like, hopefully. Um, yeah, I'm thinking it's almost got like an arrow vibe, so I could call it like Arrowhead or something similar. I don't know if is there any other rockets named Arrowhead already? That's not a half bad name. Arrow Arrowhead rocket. Hmm, Arrowhead model. No. There's something Stellar Arrow by Semroth. What does that look like? Oh, it just looks like an actual arrow that is a rocket. Okay. Well, yeah, we might call this the arrow then. Arrow Stealth. I don't want to copy him at all. I can't give any nods to the design. So I can't call it Stealth at all. Because copyright infringement, et cetera, et cetera. I also just don't want to create a problem. I like creating my own. I don't like copying people. Um, just like I wouldn't want somebody to copy me. Um, so yeah, I think I like arrow because it does look like an arrow. Um, we could call it broadhead because it has a really big head, and there are broadhead arrows. Um, Something arrow related, I think, because that actually fits the vibe pretty well. But yeah, so I will see y'all tomorrow. I have, like I said, I went to a rocket launch earlier today. I was there from like noon to 5. I would have been there earlier, but I had church. Um, so I left right after church to go to a rocket launch, which was an hour away. So I got there at around 12. I think it was 12:20 or whatever. Um, then I stayed till 5. But I've got a ton of projects in the works. I interviewed a bunch of people, well, 2 people specifically that are going to be posted. And I'll be interviewing more people every monthly launch. So I've got those shorts and long form videos to post of the interviews after I edit them, obviously. Um, and then I also will be making a bunch of content related to a few projects that me and one of the other club members are working on. And then I'm going to be making a video short series based on um, like how tos and what you should know when you go to a rocket launch. That'll be a shorts series for new rocketeers. I'm making that with one of the other not elders but older members of the club. Uh, he's not actually that old. Um, he's like my parents' age. So never mind. He's not old. He's more experienced than me. He has like 40 years of rocketry experience. So we're collaborating on that, and then we also have another project we're working on that will go together with some egg finder things. make that system. It's something for the egg finder system. Um, and then Mini Starlance is going live tonight, so you'll be able to order Mini Starlances tomorrow morning, or I guess whenever I get done with this. You'll be able to order Mini Starlances, and then after that, I will have Stars and Stripes. Well, it'll be Mini Starlance, and then this kit will probably launch because it's so simple. I can literally have it posted by tomorrow. Um, so this kit will launch, and then Stars and Stripes will launch once I have the tubes, and then which Lock Precision has been on vacation, so they haven't even shipped it yet. Which is fine, totally fine. It just delays what I need to do slightly, which is fine. So after Stars and Stripes, then I will be working on posting Crystal Express, which is a Zenith variant that I have. And then after that, it's up for debate what I'll work on next, because I don't entirely know. I have an entire document full of like 50, 60, 100 bajillion ideas that I could work on. But, like I said, um, there's a lot. I have a lot of ideas. So I need to decide which of them. So all of you should go and join my newsletter, which is in the description below. Um, I post, or not post, I send out newsletter emails with polls, and all of the people in there get to help make decisions like you do guys on live streams. You help me design the rockets that I work on, or like help answer questions and things. But more so there, like helps helps me to decide which rocket kit to work on next. But yeah, so I will see you guys later. I'll have a bunch of videos going out in the next coming weeks. So without further ado, stay curious and ignite the skies.